Hi friends, extremely happy to connect and talk to you on various topics to do with contemporary politics, be it in Tamil Nadu or rest of the country. Curating an English playlist primarily targeted on the non-Tamil speaking audience. I'm sure you'll find it useful if you are a non-Tamil speaking person. The first topic I'm taking up is doing a quick analysis about Annamalai, the political phenomenon in Tamil Nadu, the former IPS officer who's in charge of the Tamil Nadu state unit of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Annamalai is running a big marathon and he is conscious of the fact that he is running a marathon, but will he succeed in this marathon or will he complete this marathon is the topic we are analyzing today. First things first, Annamalai was probably, to use the classic parlance, was parachuted into the Tamil Nadu unit of the BJP by none other than the top leaders of the BJP, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, B.L. Santosh, who's from Karnataka and who identified Annamalai even while she was an IPS officer in South Karnataka. And Annamalai also was attracted to the principles of the BJP as well as the inspirational leadership of Narendra Modi, and he decided to join the BJP. There's also a story that goes that earlier when actor Rajinikanth was wanting to form a political party, Annamalai was very, very keen on joining him as joining Rajinikanth in the party, but subsequently Rajinikanth's political party was a non-starter, so Annamalai decided to join the BJP. That's one. Second thing is Annamalai comes into Tamil Nadu with a very, very different legacy from a normal politician of Tamil Nadu. Normal politician of Tamil Nadu comes with a legacy of being in one of the Dravidian parties, because other than DMK and ADMK, probably the national parties never had a big growth in the state. I mean, the Congress historically has always been dependent on either of the Dravidian parties to grow here, and even now Congress is at the mercy of the DMK. And in that sense, Annamalai was seen as a rush of fresh blood into the state politics, somebody who comes from a classic middle class background, somebody who did his engineering in PSG College of Technology, subsequently went to IIM to finish his MBA, and later on joined the services, was a very, very popular and widely appreciated police officer in the South Karnataka districts, had worked in various capacities across Karnataka, almost to the point that he really was admired by many politicians cutting across party leaders in Karnataka. Now, from there he came into Tamil Nadu, and from the day he came into the Tamil Nadu politics, he has faced very, very stiff opposition in terms of a narrative being created against him by the Dravidian parties and also the media here. That is the most important thing, because one should understand that media here in Tamil Nadu is fully controlled by a DMK. I mean, it's a known fact that even the editorial rooms of the regional media, the Tamil broadcast media or the Tamil print media are very fairly strongly or indirectly controlled by the Tamil media. So to that extent, a lot of poke on Annamalai's leadership, a lot of poke on Annamalai's background, a lot of poke on how Annamalai can never be a starter here in politics and things like that. But despite that, with all credit to the charisma of Annamalai, he did attract a lot of youngsters into the party, which was reflected in the vote share which came in the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. The 2024 Lok Sabha polls were fought by the DMK, ADMK and BJP. The ADMK, which had allied with the BJP until then, had decided to part ways thanks to Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy, the General Secretary of the ADMK, feeling that moving away from the BJP will fetch him more minority votes. The Muslim vote bank, which has been traditionally with the DMK, hence EPS decided that he will split away from the BJP, and once they split away from the BJP, their tirade against the centre and the state, the central leadership led by Narendra Modi and the state leadership led by Annamalai also increased in a very, very big way. So in that sense, right from the beginning, it can be said that Annamalai has been on a very, very unfriendly territory in terms of the media landscape and the political landscape. And the DMK, the famed DMK IT wing systematically has carried attacks almost even bordering on very, very personal and private attacks on Annamalai's family and things like that. But despite that, one should say that Annamalai really did probably carry the party well. He went across the state with his Enman Enmakkal Yatra, covering the length and breadth of the state, and also thanks to his efforts, probably a lot of sheen was taken away from the narrative which was created by the DMK, that the anti-Modi narrative has been very, very strong in the state, very historically, even ever since Sri Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister nationally, that is 2014 until now, 2024. DMK has always made it a point that anti-Modi narrative will be their biggest campaign point as far as the national politics is concerned, primarily the polls to the Lok Sabha are concerned. That is how they fought the past two Lok Sabha polls, and they have in fact won these two Lok Sabha polls in a very, very big way, probably because the people here also feel that the Dravidian parties are probably more deserving here than the national party like the BJP. The Congress, as I already told you, Congress has traditionally been a towing second line or probably tail holding of DMK for a very, very long time now. And Congress has got a traditional vote share, and that vote share is what makes them a part of the DMK alliance. And DMK has always been winning elections based on alliance arithmetic. Now, cutting back to Mr. Annamalai and also formed a reasonably a good political front in the Lok Sabha polls. He could get the support of the Patali Makkal Kachi and other smaller parties, and all these parties put together in the Lok Sabha polls could probably have a considerable vote share. They had about 12 to 15% vote share. The BJP itself is getting about I think 11-12%, and the other parties together bringing in about 3 to 4%. So roughly 16%, which is fairly significant for BJP as a front. The interesting perspective here is the ADMK also lost a big amount of vote share in the Lok Sabha polls. Their justification being that they really didn't find the Lok Sabha polls very serious to put up a good fight. But the fact remains that the ADMK has probably lost its sheen now. They did fairly well in the assembly polls in 2021, and I think they won 66 seats after 234 seats, putting up a decent opposition to the ruling DMK front. But post that, I think Edappadi Palaniswamy has been facing number of challenges in terms of challenge to his own leadership from within the party, rival factions taking away votes, and the Mukulator caste factor, which is a predominant caste in southern districts, moving away from the party and probably being with people like TTV Dinakaran, who has his own party, and the rival ADMK faction, which is led by O. Pannirselvam. Okay, this is the background, and subsequently, because of a weakening ADMK also, maybe we can say that Annamalai and BJP were able to make some amount of gains in the Lok Sabha polls. Many constituencies, ADMK was pushed to the third place, and significantly in places like Madurai Lok Sabha constituency and South Chennai Lok Sabha constituencies and few other Lok Sabha constituencies, BJP could take second place after the DMK win, and ADMK was pushed to the third place. Now, this is the kind of spectacular performance led by Annamalai in the Lok Sabha polls, and post that Annamalai immediately had to go overseas for his political science course in Oxford University. He's just come back. So this interregnum or the interim gap has probably changed a bit of a political landscape in Tamil Nadu. Actor Vijay, who is a fairly popular actor and someone who is in the peak of their career, has come to politics. He's launched his own party known as the Tamil Vetri Kachi, the TVK party, and he's also made a proclamation that his party will contest all the 234 assembly seats in the state, and anybody who accepts them as a primary party or accepts Vijay as a primary leader will or can be a part of the front. Now, that is a big change in dynamics here, and youngsters who were flocking to BJP under Annamalai's leadership, I think some of them, it is told or it is at least trumpeted by the Tamil media that a lot of youngsters will move to Vijay's party or vote in favor of Vijay rather than voting in favor of Annamalai. So that is challenge number one. The narrative is again shifted. As I said, the media here has been very, very unfavorable to Annamalai, and media here also is playing very, very favorable to actor Vijay, almost to the point that you have a lot of YouTube channels and veteran journalists claiming that even in his first assembly poll in 2026, Vijay's party without an alliance will score anything like 20 to 25%, which has never happened to any regional party or any first-time politician in the entire country. One should remember that as a backdrop. No actor who came into politics, who ventured into politics in the country, probably except with the exception of N.T. Ramarao in the old days, N.T. Ramarao when he formed the Telugu Desam party, I think rode to power in an anti-Indira or anti-Congress wave in the United Andhra Pradesh then. But after that, I think no actor has got that kind of a huge share in votes. But fortunately or unfortunately, the Tamil media is giving a lot of hype about Vijay, and it is almost to the point that a whole lot of people say that Annamalai is not even in the race now. The race is hotting up between Vijay and the Dravidian parties, DMK on the top and ADMK on the second. So this is the first challenge for Annamalai. Annamalai he has to stay relevant in this entire political race. He has to stay relevant in terms of being in the top of the mind, which he has been till date. He's probably been a darling of the media, because he gets TRPs like no other regional leader here. So the Tamil media likes to poke him and get responses and probably shoot it out for TRP, which has been going on now, and it is still going on even now after Annamalai returned from London. That is one. Number two, there has been a lot of so the Vijay factor, how Annamalai handles the Vijay factor, or how the regional BJP or the Tamil Nadu BJP overrides the Vijay factor of the TVK party and stays relevant in the discourse is very, very important. Here again, there is a difference in hue and color. The BJP continues to be a national colored party, whereas TVK, going by Vijay's utterances, very, very clearly is a softer version of DMK is what it looks like, because he also talks about opposing governor, federalism, secularism, minorities getting preference, abolition of work board, opposition to NEET as an exam, and a whole lot of things like that, which is very, very striking to similar to what the DMK has done. So that in terms of a political color, there's a vast difference. So the fight is primarily probably for the charisma, whether Annamalai will remain more charismatic or probably Vijay will overtake Annamalai in the people's mind space in terms of charisma. Secondly, I think Annamalai also faces a lot of trouble from within. Probably a lot of Annamalai fans or may not like it to be told that fortunately or unfortunately he's been not too good judge of people who are very, very close to him, and that has brought him a lot of trouble right from the beginning. They've been internecine trouble in the party. People who are proximate to him get into controversies. Of course, it is not his responsibility at all, but that gives again, see, politics is all about perception, and here, particularly in Tamil Nadu, when all political parties and the media are ready to exploit any trouble for Annamalai, I think it is only probably very, very important for him to be very, very cautious on that front. I would put it in a more appropriate way, in the sense that as a former cop, as a former IPS officer, the general question anyone asks is, how can a former IPS officer who supposedly would be a very discreet and a very, very professional person, how can be such a person be a wrong judge of people who are very, very proximate to him? And how is that anybody who gains proximity to him or who is probably seen as second in line to him, always ridden with controversies in one form or other? Like it or not, this is a perception which is very strong even within the party. The party also is undergoing a lot of tumult with people being thrown to the wolves because of their views. There's one YouTuber called Maridas who is based out of Madurai, who keeps firing ammunition against Annamalai and keeps feeding the anti-Annamalai rhetoric and the views within the party and things like that. But all said and done, the national leadership is strongly behind Annamalai, and that should be a big blessing in disguise for him. In fact, the former governor of Telangana, Tamilsai Soundarajan, tried probably to cut Annamalai to size, and she probably wanted to become a state party leader after her loss in the Lok Sabha elections for the South Chennai constituency. So that again, probably there were reports that she was publicly reprimanded by Amit Shah in the swearing-in ceremony of Andhra Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu. But again, she keeps having her say in the media by giving probably opposite views to what Annamalai says. But Annamalai has handled her very, very diplomatically and said that she's a very, very senior person in the party and she will guide him to probably better levels and things like that. This is one, the party internecine squabbles are another thing. But the more significant challenge, which probably not many people speak about, is how people who voted in favor of Modi in 2024 will vote in the 2026 assembly polls. One should remember that cutting across party lines, despite all the anti-Modi rhetoric by the Dravidian parties, by the DMK here, there is one group of people, probably it can be 3% of votes, 4% of votes, which are polled only because Mr. Modi has got a stature. Mr. Modi is seen as a person who's probably one of the tallest leaders in contemporary India, who does good for the country and things like that. So in that sense, those 3-4% votes which went to BJP are probably not hardcore BJP member votes, but probably they are general public votes, people who feel that Modi is a very, very worthy of a prime minister person and there is no other person to match him in terms of fitting the shoe of a prime minister. So if those 4%, 3% votes decide that they probably will look as to who is a better chief minister, then probably BJP may not poll that high percentage of votes which they polled in the Lok Sabha polls. That is a huge challenge because apart from any incremental growth from the Lok Sabha poll base, Annamalai also has to address as to where from this 3-4% votes will come, and not just that, it is also as to see, people vote for chief ministers, people voted for Jayalalitha, people vote for MGR, people vote for Karunanidhi, people would vote for MK Stalin, Edappadi Palaniswamy. So if people have to feel that there is a probability that Annamalai can be chief minister, that is the only way they'll vote for the BJP. If people think that no, there is no remote possibility of Annamalai being a chief minister, why should we waste our votes? We'll probably rather vote for somebody who will be chief minister. Whom do we do not want to be chief minister, then in that case whom do we vote for? So in that sense, the votes would probably go for MK Stalin, Edappadi Palaniswamy, and probably even to Vijay, because of this media hype that Vijay is going to get about 20-25% votes. So that will also mean that there is going to be a significant drain of votes from the BJP's vote share in 2024 polls. How Annamalai will address it, or how Annamalai will probably reassure people that there is a still chance for BJP to form the government or BJP person to be a chief minister and things like that. I think that is very, very important. One should remember that Patali Makal Kachi leader Anbumani Ramadas in fact ran an entire political campaign in an earlier election saying that Matram Munnetram Anbumani, where he was projected as a chief minister in a very, very big way across the state. They conducted a very, very spirited campaign. They used PR agencies to run a spirited campaign, but despite all that, because people didn't have this feeling, the probability that this person will become a chief minister, PMK couldn't poll as much, any significant incremental votes never came to the PMK in that election. So that could be a big lesson which could happen. If you infer from that, the same could happen to BJP in 2026 assembly polls as well. Again, here I'm discounting a lot of charisma factor for Annamalai. Of course, there is a huge set of people who here say that Annamalai is chief minister material. One day he'll be a chief minister. It is a matter of time. And, even in the 2026 polls, Annamalai's charisma will bring in a whole lot of votes for the Bharatiya Janata Party in the state, making it probably one of the very, very strong contenders to power. There is also this backroom teams which keep saying that only all BJP is to crack in Tamil Nadu is only about 30-40 assembly constituencies, and if they work very, very hard and focus only on 30-40 assembly constituencies, I think then the fate of Tamil Nadu will be very, very different, almost to the point that there will be a hung assembly here, and BJP, like what happens in many states, will be a kingmaker here, deciding as to who will be the chief minister and things like that. So all these are permutations and combinations, and of course these permutations and combinations are very, very wide open. But the biggest challenge for Annamalai is to probably tide over these numerous challenges which he is facing now, and which probably will continue until the assembly elections in 2026. Another important challenge, or another important perception game where the BJP might be tested, is the fact that despite so much of noise against corruption, despite so much of noise about DMK being corrupt, the first family being corrupt. Even on the Lok Sabha polls campaign, I think even none other than the Prime Minister Modi spoke about DMK's corruption, first family's corruption, and he vowed that they'll be punished and things like that. There's been numerous raids by the enforcement directorate by former politicians and present day politicians, most of them for the DMK, some of them even sitting ministers now. But the conviction rate has in any of those has been pathetically low, except probably the case of Sendil Balaji, who has been tried and arrested and now is out on bail in one of the transport scams which he committed during the former ADMK government. Despite that, I think people have not seen any action on the conviction front as far as the central agencies are concerned. That could become a huge challenge, because there is also a subliminal theory going around in people that, see, look here, BJP only talks about beating corruption and things like that, but otherwise a lot of times they probably are just mute spectators. All these nonsense are only for public perception and election campaign. Other than that, BJP really doesn't bother about handling corruption here and things like that. That image is there even amongst a lot of BJP loyalists, amongst a lot of Narendra Modi loyalists, amongst a lot of Annamalai loyalists as well. People may not speak it out openly, but one has a discussion, one has a dialogue with a cross section of supporters. You'll very, very clearly see that there's tremendous amounts of dissonance on this particular front, and that dissonance is only growing by the day. Even Sendil Balaji, who was short to be convicted after a trial by the enforcement director, is out on bail, and Sendil Balaji in fact will be one of those spirited campaigners for the DMK's comeback in 2026. So that is the irony of the situation. That besides a lot of other, there was a sand mining scam which was spoken about, very, very big. There were talks that the magnitude of the scam is about 20,000 crores and things like that. But after all the hue and cry, nothing has happened in terms of that front. Particularly after Narendra Modi came back to power the third time with a reduced majority or a mandate, I think there has not been much of movement on that. And more than that, DMK continues to have two phases. One phase, they keep fighting Annamalai, they keep firing innuendos at Annamalai. On the other hand, as far as Delhi is concerned, they're very proximate to Narendra Modi, almost to the extent that whenever leaders from the DMK travel to Delhi, they get instant appointments with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Yes, these could be courtesies and things like that, but one has to remember that politics is all about perception, and in a state like Tamil Nadu, perceptions like this plays a very, very role, almost to the point that come elections, most of the other parties like the ADMK and Seeman's Naam Tamizhar Katchi will start using this against the state BJP to say that the BJP and DMK are in a maiden relationship or in a secret relationship. So that is another challenge, because Annamalai himself was very, very instrumental in making a lot of hue and cry and bringing out what was called the DMK files, which was a big dossier of corruption charges against all the DMK top leaders. But after that, nothing much happened. It probably, that issue has died a natural death. So these are very, very multifarious issues which Annamalai faces. But yes, his charisma still rides high. His 3 months absence from the state politics has been completely compensated by his comeback and probably being on the field in just about a week or so. So that leadership capacity is there in him, that leadership depth is there in him. There's absolutely no doubt about it. One cannot discount it, and one cannot also discount the fact that he'll probably quickly get to the pulse of the people and build a very, very strong narrative which could draw in more and more votes for the BJP in 2026. But how much that can be, how much will that surmount all the challenges the party faces, he individually faces, are all that to be seen. Yes, in case he really manages to crosses that 15% threshold which they did in the assembly elections, and probably if he can reach a 20% mark, that would be a humongous achievement for the BJP. There is absolutely no doubt about it. But that would also means that the ADMK is completely losing relevance in the state politics, which again will alter the political landscape of the state. We will know about all that in the 2026 assembly elections. As of now, yes, it looks like the ADMK is pretty weak. After a huge lull, I think Edappadi Palaniswamy is back on the field, visiting flood-affected areas in the northern Tamil Nadu. I think that is seen as a very, very welcome thing by a lot of ADMK people. Annamalai also is back with the bang in the field, conducting political campaigns, meetings, meeting people for flood relief. He's asked the BJP people to be on the forefront of flood relief and etc. And he probably for sure is coming back strong. But how strong will that be, and whether that will be good enough to make a huge dent in the Tamil Nadu voting landscape, we'll have to see. Let us see how it does. We wish well for him, and we also wish well for all other political parties here. It was wonderful sharing this perspective with you, and if you found it very, very interesting, you probably can share it with your friends and in other WhatsApp groups or wherever you feel it appropriate. It is always a pleasure connecting with you and speaking with you on such topics. I'll probably continue posting more videos in English, and probably create a playlist in English in this channel which you think which could be very, very useful. Thanks for your time. I'll see you soon. Thank you. Vanakkam.